So this is the new Great Lakes Finesse hanging head. What's so awesome about this head, really there's two things. One is the eye position on this head is super balanced. It's actually further back on the jig head. What that means is when you're fishing that Damiki style, hanging a minnow, there's a bunch of names for it, where we just hover that bait above their heads, twitch it, move it a little bit. It's gonna stay perfectly horizontal and balanced without having to manipulate your knot. That might relate to you if you use other styles of heads that are similar. And the second thing that's so key to this is the fine wire Gamakatsu hook. So for us, we're finding that these fish are getting more and more pressure, and we're finding that sometimes just to get a bite, we need to go down to 6, 4, even 3 pound test line. And what that means for us is we got to use lighter action rods, longer rods, and being able to get good hook penetration when you're using a thicker gauge hook is really hard. So that's why we developed this head, so that you could actually not only get them to bite, but also land those fish, because that fine wire hook is so much better for getting a good hook set and good penetration on those, especially big 5, 6, 7 pound smallmouth. So what we pair this with is, typically for years we've been using the drop minnow, and that bait has true neutral buoyancy. So paired with the hanging head, it's going to sit perfectly balanced in the water. So if we're seeing a fish and we're pitching out to it and letting it swing over top of the fish and then basically settling below the boat, that's going to just sit there perfectly horizontal. That tail's going to quiver, and it triggers a lot of bites. We catch a lot of fish with it. Now the second bait that's a little newer is the new hover minnow. And this thing's got a cup belly. So what this thing does is it actually spirals on the fall. Smallmouth love a big spiraling action. And it also darts in random directions. So it'll dart randomly. And then also when you're hovering it below the boat, it behaves, it kind of darts off to the side. We never know which direction it's going to go in, but it always settles back and sits perfectly level on this jig head. So it's available in a variety of sizes, all the way down to 1/8 ounce and as heavy as 5/16 ounce. So depending on the conditions, the depths, you've got options there. So check those out. Bunch of different colors to look at. The new hanging head is one you definitely want to consider if you're around big pressured fish and you're using lighter action rods. This thing's going to get you more bites, and you're going to land a lot more fish.